Good afternoon, Bina.
Good afternoon, Julie. How are you?
I'm absolutely brilliant. It's the 24th of July. It's HR Bullets with Bina and Julie. How could I be anything else but brilliant? Because it's Friday again, isn't it?
It's Friday, and yes, and the sun is shining again. Again. It wasn't this morning, it was quite cloudy today, but hey, the
Yeah,
sun's come out just for us. So there you go.
perfect, perfect. So what's on our HR Bullets today? We've got some exciting information to share, some that we've already spoken about, but some emphasis on certain areas around the job retention scheme, the bonus kick-in, the kickstart, the apprenticeships, the trainees, and we're also going to talk about the R word, the redundancies, which is really, from stats this week from a webinar. I'd like to share that too at the end. So let's get started. Job retention scheme, over to you.
Yeah, and we will talk about a little better R word, which is recruitment, which we'll keep to the end, but to kind of bring it up a bit. So here we go. So first of all, we talk about the job retention scheme. And as you know, we have been talking about it. And I think most people in the employment world, the business world in this country would know about job retention scheme. And it's been going on for a while, since April. And we also now it's had its stages of different stages on job retention scheme, where the furloughing came in from April, and then basically from this month, from July, a flexible furlough came in, where organizations were able to bring in their employees if they needed to on a part-time basis, and then part of the time they would still be on furlough, but the government would be still paying up to 80% less whatever the company had to pay for the work that was carried out, because that would have been at full rate. So that kind of was flexible furloughing. Now, the job retention bonus that's come in, which was announced just over a week ago, that literally is about it. What we're going to talk about is about preservation of jobs now, and how employers are being given initiatives, how being incentivized by the government to say, look, if you can hold on to your people, all your good people, hopefully we can help you a bit here as well, over and above what we've already done for you. So the first thing is the job retention bonus scheme, which means that if you have put your people on furlough at any stage between now or previous to it, since April, end of March, April to, and it may be all the way up to end of October, that's fine. But what we're saying is now that you carry on employing that person from 1st of November all the way to end of January. So once you've done that, and they've been on furlough, and the qualifying element is that they should also have been earning at least £520 per month on an average, then you as an employer would qualify for a bonus, and that bonus will be paid as £1,000 per employee to the employer, and that will be paid sometime in February. So in a way, if you look at it, that's it's just saying to people, look, you are going to hopefully keep a number of your employees on, and hopefully majority of them on employment. So why don't you then use this scheme and then get some money as well on top? So that's one.
Excellent support from the government.
Yeah. And the next one is the Kickstart scheme. Now, this is now addressing the younger workforce, i.e. anybody who is within the age group of 16 to 24. And it covers a whole wide spectrum, obviously. And what this one is saying is that if any of these, workers, any of these young people who have been unemployed for a while, they are claiming the universal benefit. And so if that's the case, then you take them on, and you take them on for at least 6 months, yeah? And then for that, excuse me, and as long as you've got them for 6 months, the government will pay you another bonus. So that's another one that's coming up, and it's just literally saying that the government will actually pay. Sorry, I've got a three.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll talk about bonus number 2 from the government. So yeah, it's 25 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry, I just got a tickle in my throat. So it's literally, it will be a case of, if you take the person on for 6 months, the government will pay you the money for at least the national minimum wage for that employee, and up to 25 hours per week.
Yeah.
And they must be at least employed up to end of January. So if you do that, then you've got somebody free for 6 months, and it's worth looking into.
Absolutely, because it could mean that they're going to be an excellent asset to your company. You've trained them up, the government have paid them, you can keep them on. So shouldn't really be saying this, but obviously it cuts down on recruitment fees, and you could grow in your own and making sure that they're working the way that you want them to. So definitely should be, all employers should be thinking about that.
And I think it was also because, with SMEs, given that, if you may have had to let go of maybe 1 or 2 people, or or you're thinking about building up your business, you might not have actually got rid of any, but maybe say you only got 1 employee or somebody, or none actually, and you've been thinking about taking somebody on as an employee as number 1. Why don't you try with the kickstart? Fabulous. Yeah, so that's the one. And then we talk about apprenticeships. So if you're taking on an apprentice, and there's something again to think about, apprentices, normally under the normal scheme, you get paid as an employer, you get, money from the government. This would mean that you would not only get that money, as it were, but you would also get additional £2,000 if that apprentice is under the age of 24. If, sorry, not 24, 25. If they're over the age of 25, you would get 1,500 over and above the normal payment that you would get from the government. So in fact, it helps you again in managing that apprentice. And funny enough, I was just talking to this morning to a young lady who wants to go into HR. And I actually said to her, look out for HR apprenticeships, because that would be perfect for her. And so there you go. There may be somebody out there who's thinking of taking on an HR apprentice. Well, talk to me. I will join you up, and connect you. And the last thing is about training and traineeships. Once again, there is payment for an employer if you take on a trainee anyway. But this one said that you will get another £1,000 over and above the normal payment as an employer. So guess what? That's something attractive, and you then train somebody in the way you operate, in your own way, in your own culture, and give somebody a great start. So I think that's something worthwhile thinking about, because quite often I think if in kind of going forward, if people are a bit reluctant to take on somebody else, that they're not quite sure how it would work out, somebody more experienced, or somebody that they really just don't have the money to take on at that high level, but they may be thinking about apprentices or trainees who they can actually train up, and as they progress, both are kind of benefiting from it. So I think
exactly, the employer and the employee, and is this going to sort of help each other?
Financially, it works out as well. So yeah, so
absolutely.
That's good.
So employers, I should definitely take advantage of one of those 5 options.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sure. And then Julie, is the dreaded R word, I'm afraid.
Is that recruitment or no?
No, recruitment is the good one. The recruitment is the good guy. The recruitment is definitely the good guy. Redundancy is the one which, is a bit kind of, joking apart. I mean, we have to kind of make a light of it a little bit. But unfortunately, you know that a number of organizations across the UK are going to let go of a lot of people by the end of the month. And I think it's kind of said that it could be up to 25% of the workforce. Is that correct? It might be up to about 2 million people. Could be.
Well, I was on a webinar this week, I think it was Wednesday, with one of the recruitment softwares and the chief exec of a sort of high-tech sales company, and his kind of audience, his clients are recruitment agencies. He's done some stats, and yeah, absolutely. Of the 8 million that are actually on furlough at the moment, it's estimated 25% of them, £2 million are going to hit the job. 2 million people are going to hit the job market in August. So we are, all recruitment agencies and companies are going to be flooded with CVs. It's really sad, but it's how companies are going to survive.
Yeah.
It is only, word on the street is, yes, it is only temporary, but temporary could be till next April, depending on whether we have a second wave of the COVID.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all very, very up in the air, and anyone that says anything different, no one can predict still at the moment. But
No.
yeah, lots of people to help, which we're definitely going to. And lots of ways to be able to help. And I think we were talking about earlier about anyone in this situation is really to get their CV up to date with the skills on it, especially that younger generation as well, that feel that feel that they don't have transferable skills, but they may have worked in a shop, customer service, worked with figures, dealing with customers. That speaks volumes, doesn't it? Absolutely volumes. If you can hold a conversation and you're a youngster and you've dealt with customer service, sometimes angry customer service, it's all really, really good skills.
Yeah, I mean, again, this morning as I was talking to this young lady, and she said, "Oh, I only worked in the office for a little while and helped mum for about 4 months or whatever it was, and I worked behind a bar, and not much there." And when I started talking to her about all her experiences as she would have had behind the bar, and she said, "Oh yeah, I used Excel and I did cashing up," and so I said, "Suddenly, see, you got those things to put on your CV, and have you?" And she said, "No, I haven't. I hadn't even thought about that." And what about, I said, "What about when you were working with your mum and helping your mum in her office?" And she said, "I was doing social media and I was doing administration and all the other bits and pieces." I said, "Well, there you go. If you kind of look at those functions, look at those activities and break them into little activities, then you'll find that you actually did quite a lot. And what an employer is looking for are those kind of transferable skills. So automatically they become transferable skills, because if you say, yes, I know, customer service, I know about administration, I know about how to answer a telephone, and all the good things that you would want from somebody who comes into your workplace as a trainee or an apprentice or somebody who's just starting off with you. There you go. "Oh, I hadn't thought about that." I said, "Well, there you go." So those are the kind of things that we would like to help people as well in recruitment. Obviously, redundancy, we've talked about it. I'll just touch on the fact that with redundancy, please make sure that you follow the process and make sure that everything is as should be, no cutting corners, and that's how it should be. But we're looking at obviously how we get out of all this, and when, as you said, when August hits us and there's all these people out in the job market, how do you then get yourself noticed, and where do you go looking for jobs? And hopefully we can cover that over the next couple of weeks and start helping people with that. But obviously Julie, you help a lot of people when they come to you whether they come to you as a candidate or as employers, but if they come to you as a candidate, I know you give them good advice as to how they can update the CV, or if there's anything that you feel that they could do with it, then you give them good advice, and then hopefully they're ready for the job market as well.
Absolutely. The CV just has to be saying the right things that are relevant to a job and getting those skills on there. So yeah, just I've answered so many questions and talked to so many people like you this week, Bina. So keep the questions coming in to us. We're happy to answer any questions between us. If I feel Bina's better placed, then I will obviously give Bina the details and she'll get in contact and vice versa. And we've been doing that now for the last few weeks. So not a problem at all. Doesn't matter how small the question might be. Just if we can help, we'll absolutely help.
That's what we are here
Employers
for.
And candidates, both sides.
Yeah. So that's us done for today, I think.
It is.
Yeah, well, it was lovely to see you again. And
you too, Bina.
Keep smiling, and hopefully the sun will be out for the rest of the weekend.
I hope so. Yeah, I do. Although I think I've got quite a lot of catching up with work to do this weekend. I've got so many candidates that come in, like we've been talking about. So it's getting back to them. So bear with us. It takes a little bit longer than normal to get back to people just because of the influx, but you will get a response. So
wonderful, and see you next week.
Yeah, you too, Bina. Have a lovely weekend.
And you. Thank you.
Bye for now. Bye.